To SS tutorials. Today's topic is graph of a polynomial, means how we represent a polynomial in the graph, means in a coordinate axis. Okay, so before going to the topic, how we represent the polynomial in a graph? Means because a polynomial general forms are ax square plus bx plus c or ax plus b, like that. In that variable is x, means here the zero of the polynomial is always x coordinates, means x points. That is why the graph of a polynomial represented as y is equal to polynomial of x, means here the zeros are x coordinates. That is why the graph of a polynomial represented as y is equal to p of x, polynomial of variable x. Okay, in that linear polynomial, what is the graph nature of a linear polynomial? Means, for example, what is the general form of a linear polynomial? Ax plus b is the general form of a linear polynomial. What is its degree? X power 1, means the degree of a polynomial is 1. That means how many maximum zeros having a linear polynomial? The maximum zeros having a linear polynomial is only 1. That means it intersecting the x-axis at only one point. A linear polynomial intersects the x-axis at only one point. That is why the graph of a linear polynomial y is equal to ax plus b is always a straight line. Understand? So the graph of a linear polynomial is always a straight line, means it indicating a line because the zero is only 1. That means it intersects the x-axis at one point only. Of a quadratic polynomial. So what is the general form of quadratic polynomial? Ax square plus bx plus c, means what is the degree of quadratic polynomial? 2. So 2 is the degree of quadratic polynomial, means at most how many zeros it have? Maximum 2 zeros only. That means the graph of a quadratic polynomial touches the x-axis at how many points? How many zeros it have? That much points it intersecting on the x-axis. So the quadratic polynomial touches at how many points on the x-axis? At only 2 points on the x-axis. So that is why the shape of the quadratic polynomial y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is parabola. That means like here, like this. So this is called parabola. Okay, so the shape of a quadratic polynomial is parabola. Why? Because it's having 2 zeros. That's why the graph is values are like here. So the graph is like this. Okay, in that, in a quadratic polynomial, the a is greater than 0. If a is greater than 0, then the parabola open upwards, means it's open side like here. The parabola is always upwards when the a means the constant. A is greater than 0. Okay, next one, if a is less than 0, means if it is minus values, then the parabola is like downwards, opens down. According to the graph of a quadratic polynomial, there are 3 cases. That means 3 kinds of zeros are there. What are that? Means in case 1, in a quadratic polynomial y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, if the graph is like this, means if the graph, the x coordinates are 2 and those 2 are different. Okay, that means when the parabola of a quadratic polynomial touches the x-axis at different points, then the zeros are real and different. That means when the parabola of the quadratic polynomial touches at 2 different points on x-axis, then those 2 are different zeros, a and a dash. Okay, and those are real. That is the case 1. And second case is observing this figure. Here the parabola touches at only 1 point on the x-axis. Okay, that means when a quadratic polynomial y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, its graph line, means its parabola touches the x-axis only 1 point like a, then how many zeros having this quadratic polynomial? Means this quadratic polynomial having only 1 zero and it is real. So how many zeros? Only 1 zero of this quadratic polynomial when it touches the line of x-axis, and it is a real zero. And observe this figure. In this figure, the parabola did not touch the x-axis. Understand? That means it is in the upwards of the x-axis. That means the parabola not touches the x-axis. So for these kind of graphs, that means here no real zeros of x-axis or no real zeros of polynomial. Means in y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic polynomial. Here if the parabola not touch x-axis, then the zeros are not real. Okay, there is no real zeros for these kind of quadratic polynomials. So these are the three cases according to the parabolic graph.